Watercolor painters often use masking techniques to reserve lights. But oil painters, acrylic painters, gouache painters, pastel painters, the whole lot can use a masking technique too. Let me show you. So for what I'm about to show you, all you need is paper. Just these little sheets of note paper, or it's not really called note paper, whatever it is, scratch pad stuff. It's all you need for this. And so when I start out, I have here a sheet of watercolor paper. I have a sheet of stretch canvas here, and I have some pastel paper here. So I want to show you that you can use this as a mask for all these mediums. And we know that just about anything that will work in oil will also work the same way in gouache or in acrylic. So we've got a broad range of materials covered with just this one simple little technique. So we'll start out with the watercolor, and so I'm not going to try to do a painting for you because we don't have time for that. I just want to show you how it works. You can take just a plain sheet of white paper, yes, with watercolor, if you're working wet on dry. So let's assume you've already got your sky in, and you've got all the washes already in, and that's dry, and now you're ready to do your wet and dry work. Well, just take a plain sheet of paper, doesn't have to be treated anyway, and align it along the edge here, and let's say if there are trees in the background. We'll just assume on all these demonstrations, these little tricks I'm showing you, we'll just assume on all of them that we have trees in the background, and we can just scoot or just block that out and just paint right on top of it to form our trees without having to use masking fluid or without having to use any kind of fancy techniques, just by using the sheet of paper like that. And you can turn it like this, or if it's still wet, this stuff is cheap, so it won't matter. You can use the edge here and bring off trees that might be continuing into the background like that. And let's see, let's just go ahead and give a little bit of follow through right there. And of course you could do the same thing on the other side of the building, where you're getting the feeling of trees continuing in the background. And so there you've got it in watercolor. Then you can use the same technique in oil. Usually oil painters don't think about using masking techniques, but I find that a lot of times they can make things go a lot more smoothly and keep things from being quite so tedious. So same thing, where you simply just take that sheet of paper and scoot the strokes right on over. And again, I'm going to be doing just pretending that we have some tree shapes behind this building, and so there we have well, let's just make it even more real. Let's just have some of that coming down to the side like that, and then we would assume that we've got tree shapes extending from the building here, from the top of the building here, and so might go up, just make a little tree shapes like that, and then extending a little bit more over here, and so we'll just mask out the edge there like that, and there we go. Now we have just with very little time put into it, we have to be real careful. We have the building masked and now able to handle it with clean colors. Now you can do the same thing or similar thing with pastels. I've got this little pastel drawing down here, and this is the same thing. With pastels, you need to put a little bit more pressure. Oops, you have to hold it a little bit more secure, and just pull the strokes. Start on the mask itself, and just pull the strokes in the direction that you need them to go to suggest the shape that you're trying to make here. And you see, already we've already got the same effect as we got with oil and with watercolor. So we do the same thing here, just starting at the edge and pushing the color, or beginning the stroke on the sheet of paper itself, and then pushing it into onto the pastel paper to create the shapes of whatever we're doing. So each one of them works pretty much the same way, where you're starting the work actually on the shape of the material, of the mask, and then pushing it onto the material. So regardless of the media that you're working in, you might give this a try, and you might find that using the paper as a mask, and also sometimes if you need a fuzzy edge, you could tear the paper and you have a fuzzier edge like that, just to form a little bit of an edge to make the light work, the work that you would do in the light area, a little easier to handle. So I think you'll find this is fun. And there's your quick tip.